Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Craic Time. We have episode 2 of the ITV's production of Titanic. With second class and third class. Last week, they focused on first class, and as you can see, I was able to get myself the logo that they used for this show, put it as part of my avatar. And also, you're probably seeing the background picture just to show you. Each week, there'll be a different background picture now because I have a couple. John, I know you're waiting. If you want some of these pictures, let me know and I'll send them to you later on, actually, because there's a couple of background pictures. So the background picture that I'm picking is actually appropriate for this episode that we're watching this week. So just to show you again. So the episode features this couple quite heavily. So that's why I have it as my background picture. And I'm going to bring on my co-host, obviously, for this story. It's the one and only real super doctor.
Welcome. Hey Noel, how you doing?
And I see
back
you
again.
I see you've got your own avatar sorted as well. I said, Fecka, do you know what? Even if I'm a few minutes late, they won't mind. I'll just get the avatar.
Yeah, I'll just kind of put something together really quickly.
So, yeah, we'll start now in a minute. Just give us a second. I'm sharing this. We got 3 people watching at the moment. This does seem to be a very popular discussion. Last week certainly was when me and John actually did this. We were probably an hour later doing it than we are this week because the movie that we picked this week was actually a shorter movie than normal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing this, and the audience should go up because anytime we do talk about Titanic, as I said, people do like it. And I've put the chat on slow mode anyway for now, as I've explained. It'll be for a while until things settle down, and I think they already are settling down because I wasn't targeted today, which is always great. If that's all I want, I just want to be left alone in peace. That's it. That's all, as Lee explained. That's all we want. We just want to be left alone in peace, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be quite honest with you. But hopefully now that is the case, because as I said, it's been years of just constant crap, and I'm getting too old for this crap. I just want Doctor Who to go back to the way it was, and that's all I'm going to say on that anyway. But there you go. I'm sharing it now. We'll be ready to go. I have it ready to go as well. Got everything done quick, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, as you probably know, me and John are bloody. Not only are we Doctor Who fans, but me and John are a bit fanatical when it comes to Titanic. And there's no, in fairness, there's nothing wrong with that. I just look. There's so much mystery around it, and as I said, it's one of those things that captured my imagination. I remember even when they found the wreck, how much of a big deal that actually was. I was blown away. To be honest with you, as a kid, and then I got to learn about this history about this ship. But John, just very briefly before we go into this, just tell people what Titanic means to you and why you're so fascinated with this topic of with this ship, I should say. What is your fascination for anybody that's new? Because we do get new people watching. Let them know why you're fascinated about why this ship stores a reaction out of you.
Well, I was fascinated because I was introduced by it because my papa showed me the Titanic film. It was A Night to Remember, and it was that day that my gran was making the lunch, and I kind of had to sit in her chair, and while he was kind of showing me this film and trying to explain it to me,
Yeah.
black and white film, and it was kind of pausing in the scenes, and it was showing me the ship sailing across the ocean. It says that's Titanic, and I was quite taken in by it because it was like a kind of old fashioned cruise ship, and it was the story that kind of got me as well, because he used to
Yeah.
tell me all about the story and that, and the sinking and everything like that, and about the different classes of people that were on the Titanic and that, and it was the film and it sinking and its story and about the people that was on it, and that kind of fascinated me, and even getting a model made of the Titanic and that, and I just wanted a model for years, and I
Yeah.
got one and that, and
Well, here's the
uh,
thing. You talk about the class. In this, it's very evident the class system. Actually, here's a
yeah,
very fascinating facts for all you history buffs out there. Does anybody know what ship was the first ship to get rid of the class system? It was actually a German ship during World War II, believe it or not. They were the ones that got rid of when Hitler was doing, the way he had these propaganda holidays for supporters of the
yeah,
party. Well, they built ships specifically for these cruises, and they were the first ships that didn't have class. So they didn't distinguish between first class, second class, and third class. Every person on the ship got the same accommodation if they were
yeah.
a member of that party. Uh,
Would it be the Normandy? I don't know, but
no, the Normandy was a class ship. Look, sure, look at it.
yeah,
Yeah, the Normandy was. Well, no, actually, you could be right because the Normandy, yeah, but the Normandy was just for the rich and the famous. So in
yeah,
itself, that's
yeah,
kind of a class. That's the
yeah,
class of the Hollywood star. That's who sailed on the Normandy. But even that was a bit flash for them, and they
yeah,
started sailing on. It was they start sailing on the Queen. Was it the Queen Mary? It might have
yeah.
been
The Queen
Queen
Mary.
Mary. And yeah, fascinating. As I said, I have a whole DVD box set of the history of ships and passenger liners and stuff, and how they evolved, and it actually goes through, and all the ships that we lost. There's some really famous and beautiful ships that during World War One and World War Two that were lost because they were all these ships were built with the idea that there may have been a war, so they were very easily converted into troop ships. Sure, look at Britannic,
Yeah,
for example. That was uh, when the war broke out. Obviously, they hadn't completed the work on that, so they turned that into a hospital ship. Um, so yeah, all these ships back in the day, they were all built with war in mind. If there was ever a war, because Churchill realized the value of these ships. Could get rid of it. It could basically bring thousands of troops to a landmass, or it could take sick people and the injured and the dying out of war zones and sail them away. So it's fascinating, but Titanic is remembered because even though it's not the biggest maritime disaster, again, that was another German ship that was actually sunk because it had over 4,000 passengers on it, but it's never spoken about because Titanic is so famous. But this is on this DVD box set that I have. I'll try get the. I'll. It's back somewhere where all those DVDs, right? When I find a
yeah,
name, I'll get you to go because I think you might be able to watch the whole thing on YouTube. Because John, I know that'd be something you would be definitely into.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's brilliant. It's fascinating, the history. But Roy, let's get into this anyway. I do know Gary is doing a stream because it's his birthday stream. Uh,
Right.
so Chris is going to be moderating on both chats. No, I don't think he'll have to do much moderating, but he's going to be in and out. So if there's anybody in the chat or that hasn't spoken, If you're ready, we're on episode 2 of the ITV production of Titanic, and it's called the second and third class, and that's what we're on now. So we're going to get John to do the countdown, and then we're going to get straight into this. And as I said, if you see in the background there, you'll see that it's the couple that's featured there. It kind of concentrates a lot on this.
Yeah.
Wife is a dirty little woman. Lala will just say, well, she steals him. Whether that's classing her as dirty, but he's a hard working man, and she falls for an Italian. It's very good. Listen, again, people will criticize, and we do criticize the James Cameron because they made up 2 fictional characters, and some of these characters are fictional, but most of them are real. But you need these kind of characters. James Cameron went over the top with the romance. This has the right balance. This has the right balance, in my opinion, this TV show. And Jenna, for any fans of Jenna Coleman, she's in this show as well. Actually, she has a heartbreaking story and all, and I do really feel sorry for her, I have to say. In this. You do. You feel sorry for a lot of these characters. Even your woman there, you will feel sorry for her. Even the ones that are pig-headed in this, you feel sorry. That's great writing. Julian Fellows and his team must be congratulated. They did put high emotion, but there's plenty of drama, and the Italian fella is a bit dodgy as well. It's brilliant. Right, John. I'm going to
start now.
Yeah, I'm going to show up now. Oh, by the way, just one more quick thing. I know Screen Rant have come out with an article that has caused a bit of a reaction with people. Don't worry, I will be doing a pre-record on that because, I've seen the headline of it, and they're absolutely ridiculous if they think, look, they're just stupid. I told you about the media already. They're all planks. Don't be listening to them, man. Right? Yeah. They're idiots. Right, go anyway, John.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Previously on Titanic.
So it's basically explaining exactly what happened in episode 1.
Yeah. That annoyed me now. That's still annoying me the way she says I'm Irish, but not in that way. Well, there's no other way, love. If you don't like being Irish like Bob Geldof, well, then throw yourself overboard.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I'm sick of these people. That's what I'm actually sick of. I'm sick of Irish people that go to England, right?
Yeah.
And when they go to England or the UK, all of a sudden it's shameful to be Irish. Like,
I remember that this docudrama kind of get a bad review when it came out. I think it upset a lot of people, and it confused a lot of people because it's plot.
Yeah, this is brilliant, man. This TV show, ITV, should be commended. And I don't watch these kind of period dramas. Cheryl will tell you, I won't even watch that Downton Abbey, and everybody was into that. And I just wouldn't watch it. It's not my cup of tea. But see this Titanic, because it's got a topic that I enjoy. I don't mind all of the other nonsense going on in it because it is interesting. And Linus Roach, what an actor he is.
Linus Roach was going to be for the movie Doctor back in the 90s.
I'm going to say, could you imagine if we even got him as the Doctor? Now, this is Belfast, folks, so now they're tapping into the whole Unionists and the Catholics fighting when they were building this ship, because there was a lot of religious tensions going on. But look at that. Look at those Julian Fellows. Well done, man.
I mean, they've got the Harland and Wolff gates, right? Because I've seen these gates. They're at Titanic Belfast. They're on display, the exact ones. I mean, look at the architecture inside Titanic, and the plaster work in that, and the wood carving and all that. And the lead glass, the all the windows were kind of lead glass.
There, they talk briefly about. You see, this is the thing, though, right?
Mhm.
The one thing that for me that's been missing about telling the Titanic story is going back to the. Now I know they did it in the Blood and Steel show, but that
Yeah,
was too glamorous, man. Right? What I would like is I'd like a factual TV show, right?
yeah,
That has actors in it now, but they're playing the real characters, right?
yeah,
You go from the time the Titanic was conceived to when it was built to the trials to the fire, right?
yeah,
Go into all the detail. Now I know for ordinary people out there that aren't fans of Titanic or would watch the movies but wouldn't be interested in all the details. For people like me and you though,
yeah,
it would be the best TV show ever made. Now, I know
yeah.
there's documentaries, but I want to see a TV show, because you get to see a lot more.
I mean, they've got the interior of this Titanic.
Uh,
The kind of the dining room's kind of spot on.
They do
They've
have a
got the.
spot on. Julian
I
Fellows'
mean,
team obviously researched this, and they must have got help
yeah,
off Harland and what they must have.
yeah,
They must have got schematics as well, because remember, Harland and Wolff have all of that, and they're still around. They're trying to protect the wreck of Titanic and stuff.
yeah,
But this whole thing about the lifeboats and stuff, right?
yeah,
The fire then in the boiler room. These are things that have never been explored in a TV show or a movie yet, right? Now that we know more stuff, I can't wait because there will be that ultimate Titanic movie that will come out that will have everything like that in it. But it needs to happen sooner rather than later. I think it's time for another Titanic movie, to be quite honest with you. There, yeah. See, he says it, cutting corners, like.
yeah,
They never speak about that. It's kind of not swept under the. See, the Brits, right? No offense to British people, right? But back in those days, like, you didn't air yours or dirty laundry. It's that stiff up our lip mentality.
yeah,
If that went wrong, it carried on. Like, for example, in the Unicorn and the Wasp, couple's son dies. We stiff up our lip. You don't show emotion like the Queen
yeah,
and the royal family and all of that. It was all about pride and stuff.
yeah.
So this is why all of this was kind of swept under the carpet. That's why Ismay acted the way he acted after the fact. It's like it wasn't because he was bad in any way. It was because that was the British mentality at the time: sweep things under the carpet. We don't
Yeah.
air our dirty laundry in public.
So here we have Thomas Andrews here and Bruce Ismay and Lord Perry.
Yeah.
So it's great with this. I can really identify the characters in this and
I
the
know.
real people in this one.
The thing about it was, right, they were all ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, I will give Bruce Ismay and the other guys, what happened to the ships?
Yeah.
Nobody could have visioned that. First, the Olympic, crashes into that Navy ship, right?
Yeah.
Then they lose Titanic, yeah? And then,
Yeah.
and then during the war, then Britannic goes. Like, nobody could. Three of the biggest ships that they ever built, right? Two are under the bottom of the ocean, and one was sent away. And that's the thing that does piss me off about this whole situation. Now, I know at the time they wouldn't have been thinking this way, but if we still had the Olympic, we'd have an idea how big, what, and how Titanic looked, because they were almost identical. There was a
It's such a shame that they had to scrap the Olympic, but it was mainly they had to scrap the Olympic for the fact that ship workers were needing a job in that, and it was taking a finance families in that.
It's a pity, though. It's a pity.
Yeah. And even down to the cutlery here,
I
you can
know.
see the cups and that in the china, and they've got the white Starline logos on them.
It was funny though how the roster changed though. Do you remember when certain officers were changed around?
Yeah,
See, this is the thing. All of this would have stored up all these early conspiracy theories and stuff.
yeah.
You know.
See, they had to kind of choose the new crew from coming from Belfast to Southampton. They chose their new crew for the maiden voyage. So it was given over to Captain Smith from Captain Haddock. So I wonder if Smith was quite aware of the coal
Was he
fire.
arrogant though? Because see, this is the thing, John. Sorry, I just want
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
something. Because in every portrayal of Captain Smith, there's
yeah,
been obviously different elements of his character that's supposed to have come to light. Was he really that arrogant there when he said, "Well, God may sink us, but nature won't"? I don't think a captain of his life experience, to be quite honest, would have been that arrogant. What do you think? Because I don't think he would have been, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the passengers that were with Captain Smith described him as a kind of jolly fellow, kind of joyful. They described him as the millionaire's captain. They described him as, the kind of friendly captain that they wanted to be around in that. They didn't describe him as arrogant or anything like that.
See, we do know he was shell shocked. That's one thing that does come
Yeah,
true. Even in history, they do reckon he was shell shocked by what happened, right? Because he was
yeah,
taken aback. But I don't think that's down to arrogance.
yeah,
It was what did they say? It was 1 in a billion chance or something that hit an iceberg. Well, not one in
yeah.
a billion, but you know what I mean. It was the odds of this happening were remote.
Yes, and the because of the size of the ship and because of the disaster was unthinkable, not because the Titanic was deemed unsinkable, is because of the size and luxury and the strength of the ship, that because the disaster to the HMS Hawke, that the ship would survive with just by a mere collision, that the disaster was unconceivable.
See, again, this whole meeting just didn't make sense to me. Why would you upset the apple cart by changing the crew around or changing their duties around? There was something was, and that has been verified. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Was
It
it
must
they
have
want,
been. It must have been that
or
Bruce
his
Ismay's interference
or
in.
his fellow men that he knew he could manipulate, or maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
wouldn't be as yeah. I do feel sorry for him, but in fairness, little did he know at the time, his life was actually saved right there in that moment at
yeah.
that meeting.
And he
Yeah,
had
this
the
Irish
key to
couple.
the binoculars, and it was left behind at Southampton with him.
I always thought she'd get, and him as well, two Irish actors. I always thought that they would do a lot better, because they're great actors. You know,
But this could have happened in 1912. It could have easily happened.
I know it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
This is where she sees the Italian fella. Now, this fella is a
yeah.
bit dodgy, folks. Right? He's a bit dodgy, but she wants a bit of Italian fire. She does.
And do you notice that they all kind of wear the same brown dour clothes? I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing colourful, nothing. It's all colour coordinated. There's nothing out of the ordinary or anything like that. There seems to
Molly
be a kind
Brown.
of code.
This is why Molly Brown gets some stick as well, because she
Yeah,
did. She
yeah,
didn't conform. She was
yeah,
wearing bright colors. Even that actress who was
yeah,
she was a real actress on it. But the rest of them, you're right. Look at their colors; they're quite neutral or dark.
yeah,
There was no. their fashion sense was like non-existent. But there's
Yeah.
Jenna Coleman. She is brilliant in this.
And it even creeps into the second class as well, as you notice. And the first class are the ones that have all the, the flair and all that. And it just shows you like the social structure and how their positions are. If you're in a poor position, you know your position.
That's it. Here, listen, I'll see if I can I have the Jenna Coleman photograph here, right? I'll see if I can put it in the background for you. That'll be next week because she features very heavily, I think, next week as well. She features heavily in all episodes because there is a bit of there's this fella that fancies her and really does like her, and he's trying to get her to marry him and stuff like this, and it is quite sad actually even thinking about it. There he is there.
Yeah.
Jenna Coleman there. So here she is. You might see her face there. Oh no. Watch, I'll remove me and remove John for just a second, just to show you. Right. So that's what Jenna looks like in the show. Now I'll go back to the original image. But next week I'll use their image in the background because they feature as well. Now, her husband is at to get in a cabin, but the cabin is not actually up to the standard for a third class cabin. So what he's basically did is he's caused the diversion so he could steal in a room with more beds in it.
Yeah.
Now, he was given a ticket, but, his wife, I've got to explain this because in the first episode you kind of see it. She's not pleased about leaving Belfast.
Yeah.
Even though they're struggling and stuff like that, she'd rather stay in Belfast, but the husband wants to make a new life.
You see, what I don't understand about that is why was he given a ticket? Because he's not a part of the guarantee group.
Yeah,
because we know from
but remember he's a fictional character in this, so they can move the story along.
Yeah.
So we continue to overlook that because look, you got Loyholler there, like they're talking Captain Smith, Ismay, like they're talking. We still do hear from the people that are important throughout the history of this ship, like. They do. I do understand that they do have to put in some fictional characters. Look, I had nothing against James Cameron putting in fictional characters, right? Or fictional romance. The problem was he made it about those two. That movie was about those two. Whereas, yes, it should have featured, the romance should have featured. Yes, I'm not saying it shouldn't have, but it should have focused on the other passengers. Now, I know James Cameron will argue the fact that, well, they've done loads of Titanic movies and they've done this stuff before, right? But I would say, but that's been the fascination. And don't get me wrong, I know that movie won shitloads of awards. Stuff like that. Listen, I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and say I hate the movie. I don't. When it first came out, I was like everybody. I loved the song and all I did. Even though Celine Dion hates the fucking thing. But she's only learned how to sing it again, accepted to sing it again because she used to hate the bleeding thing because it was played everywhere. And then you had fucking idiots after the movie actually crossing the Irish Sea over to England. And what would they do? They'd go right up to the front of the ship and pretend to be Rose and Jack. Oh, look, Jack, I'm flying.
I know a lot of people do that. I mean, it's very irritating.
The news was people and the ship companies coming out and telling people not to be doing it, because it could be dangerous.
See, in the real Titanic, the passengers weren't allowed on the forecastle deck, the bow section. They weren't allowed near it.
Yeah.
So they could only go so far because there was a deck separation at the bow section.
Because remember, Jack climbs over it.
Yeah.
Climbs over when she tries to kill herself. Oh no, that's the back of the ship. That's
that's the stern section.
I get confused.
Because it was very strict policy aboard the Titanic because you had the classes and they were all kind of segregated between each other, and they couldn't. First class couldn't mingle with the second class. The second class couldn't mingle with the third, or third class, vice versa. They couldn't.
I tell you, it's. But the one thing that was eye-opening about this TV show, though, right? I thought Irish people had it bad, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like the Brits had a problem with Italians as well.
Yeah.
Like, no offense, I know it's not. I know Britain is not like that, right? There are still some elements of society that don't like Irish people, and that'll never change, right?
Yeah.
Majority of the British public, you know, we're quite similar, like we like to admit. But you know, yous are our neighbours, like yeah, you know what I mean. And you don't always get on with your neighbours, but I think the relationship between Ireland and the UK now is the best it's ever been. Even if Boris is trying so hard to fuck it all up,
Yeah.
but it has. So I understand, but this, but I have to be honest, I was astonished.
Yeah.
You know,
It was.
anti-Irish and anti-Italian rhetoric back in those days. They really didn't like it.
No, it's they had so much problems in the shipyard that they had to get German workers to finish off Titanic.
I know they even brought in a German film crew.
Yeah.
Because I remember, if I remember correctly, was it the Normandy as well? Was being built? Wasn't the Normandy being built at the same time? Now the Normandy. Listen, that was the thing. The Normandy and Titanic, but this is the thing. Normandy was overkill, right? Because it had the best of France, right? So you can imagine back in those days, right? The best of French furniture, you know, artwork, you know, woodwork, marble, you name it, right? Everything over the top, right? Over the top. With Titanic, it wasn't over the top. It was enough, you know, the rich people wanted to be surrounded by something beautiful, but with Normandy, it was overkill. With Titanic, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't. They got the balance right. So
with Titanic, they had all the mod cons, as they say.
Yeah.
They had they had boilers and they had showers in every room and that, and
sorry,
it was very comfortable.
Titanic, it was Olympic. It was Olympic first. It was Olympic and Normandy. It was Olympic and Normandy. They were being built side by side, but then there was a strike then at the shipbuilders' yard, and they lost 2 years' ground on the Normandy. That's what happened, and the Normandy was launched first. I'm probably thinking of the wrong ship. It could have been the Queen Elizabeth now.
And because Titanic was big of its time, it's actually small, and compared to the ferries even going over to Ireland now.
I know.
And when somebody said that to me, I thought, oh no, it can't be. Titanic's bigger.
But it wasn't. That's the thing. These modern ships, because they've done comparisons, like especially those big crew. You know, the ones that you can go on cruise, like they're like twice the size of Titanic, but this was the big. Look at that. And I know that's just CGI or whatever, but just it certainly. Do you know what? You'll never see the likes of it on the ocean again.
No.
That's the thing. It was beautiful looking in the water. It was in its natural habitat, as they would say, its natural element.
So what's taking place here is the kind of service. It did happen on Titanic. It did.
Yeah, and the thing about it was the only thing on the ship that was classless. Anybody from any class could worship because there was no discrimination. Even with religion on this ship, if you were a different religious, they still, if you wanted to go to service on the ship, there was none of that religious prejudice going on. It was just like, you know, which again, that was fascinating for a ship that's separated by class. See? He says we're only second class, and he says everybody's welcome at the service. But of
Yeah.
course, the first class do look up their nose still.
Yeah.
There, did you hear that? Second class in service and steerage. And then watch what he says.
It was really because of the immigration laws at the time that they couldn't mingle because of infectious diseases. And even back then, they didn't want them mingling with the
Husband,
third class.
I don't think Jesus would mind one bit because she's
No.
there, like saying, "Oh, they look like hooligans" and all of this. Like,
The one thing James Cameron got right is because when the third class passengers first boarded Titanic, they were checked for lice
yeah,
because they didn't want a total outbreak of lice. But yet again, the Titanic was full of rats
I
because
know.
rats would come in and the you know they're not just in the steerage, but they'd be all over the ship because they would be at the food sources and all that, and the kitchens and all that. Because the rats would board at Belfast because when the ship was constructed and they would be finding ways to hide and to breed and all that, and then when they sniff the food from the galleys and all that, and the kitchens and all that, they start to come out at night. So James Cameron got that bit right because when the third class section was flooding and they were running down down the hall because of to get away from the water, the rats. So they did have pests and vermin on board. Not to mention other things because back then they didn't know about. They were still in the early stages of learning about cleanliness, bacteria, and all that, and even health and vitamins and all that. Back everything that's scientific and discovery was kind of just its infant stages.
See, his wife is at the being gone through his, but their relationship is quite interesting because they both do still love each other, but because she's bitter because they didn't have kids,
Yeah,
and he wanted to make good of himself and take care of her, they kind of
yeah,
grew apart. But then they realize, you know, she says it to him as well when the ship is sinking. Look, let's put all of our past behind us, and he
yeah,
goes and he tells her that he loves her, and she says, "I do love you. I've never
yeah.
stopped you. It's just the fact, you know, it
And
didn't
then
work."
when she dies, it's kind of a bit
I
heartbreaking.
know, because they finally make up, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Ah, you bastard." See, that's what. See, she wanted kids, and he feels, look.
hmm
See, he blames himself for not being able to give her a child, and she's not she's saying that she's not blaming him, but I think in a little
yeah,
way she is. But the music and all,
yeah,
and Toby Jones plays this well, and so does Miss Kennedy there. She's brilliant.
yeah. So that's what happened back in the times. It really did.
Kathleen Kennedy, isn't it? Isn't that her name or something? Yeah.
I don't know.
She had and even when the ship is sinking, she comes across a dog, and they have another little conversation and stuff about family.
And even back in the day, men dressed like men and women dressed like women. You
Yeah,
know, the women were wearing the dresses and that, and they didn't wear trousers or anything. Maybe one of them maybe have done, but they didn't. They were all dressed presentable and smart, even for the third class.
Oh. See, he just wanted to make money so he could look after her and give her all the things that he promised. But because he was working so hard, his wife felt neglected and abandoned and stuff. And then she couldn't have kids. She got past the age of having kids, and there's a lot of bitterness there. And this maid, yeah, she's a bit of a freak. Oh, this is where the Italian steals the kiss, isn't it? Or she has a word with her husband first, is it?
Yeah.
Hold on, because they
it's because she kind of get. I haven't seen this one bit in ages. This bit.
Yeah, so she's having a word with her husband.
Yeah.
This is where she talks about not leaving Belfast, I think.
Yeah.
But he knows there's something up, He just can't put his finger on it right now until later on, and then he figures out what's going on.
It's because she's had an affair with him probably years ago, and it's probably it's because she's encountered him again.
But again, he's another man on this ship that just wants a better life for his family.
Yeah. And plus, he's a carpenter that worked on the ship.
Yeah. And this Elba, Jesus, poor husband. Our poor husband throughout this whole bleeding thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
If I was married to that, I'd throw her overboard. Forget about the iceberg. Yeah, no lifeboat for you. Even Lightholler is there. He's trying not to laugh at her because she's... But he is a fan of the actress.
Yeah.
Look at the poor husband. I know, mate. You married her. Jesus Christ.
I love to see the Titanic sailing at night.
Oh, don't, man. Don't. I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah.
See, now in this one, it's the captain that wants to speed up. In the James Cameron one, it's Ismay that tells the captain, and the captain's reluctant. So, see, again, we still don't know who made that decision.
Well, it was according to a passenger called Emily Ryerson, and she was sitting at
Didn't she say she was on the bridge when the captain received the telegram, wasn't it?
No, it was because they were sitting down at a table, and Captain Smith was over discussing over the speed of the ship with Bruce Ismay, and Emily Ryerson at a table probably across from him kind of overheard them talking about the speed of the ship.
But in fairness, he had the ice fucking warning in his hand.
Yeah.
And even as a captain with the years experience that he has, this is what I can't fathom, right? If he did make the decision, then it explains why he actually went down with the ship, because he wasn't obliged to do so. Back in those days, you weren't obliged to go down with your ship. But he did. So would that be the reason? Because he did make the decision. Or was it Bruce Ismay? We'll never know. I don't think. Unless
it was a part of a gentleman's bet to get Titanic there faster, because it was such a big name and it was making publicity in the newspapers. It would be good for White Star Line if Titanic did make a couple of days earlier, and
because the Blue Riband was a big thing, and if Titanic had got that prestigious award, holy shit! Not only would have been the most luxury sailing across the Atlantic, it would also be claimed as the fastest. Yeah,
the fastest, the safest to get to New York as soon as possible.
Exactly. And could you imagine the amount of publicity if Titanic had survived, and the amount of publicity that would have got?
Yeah.
Like it'd be even more famous than what it probably is now, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
The captain. See, this is the thing I like about this part of Captain Smith.
Yeah. He's not that cold, Captain.
No, I don't think he was. I think he has,
No.
even the footage that you see of him, the old black and white footage. You're right. He does look like a jolly old giant, doesn't he? He
Yeah.
looks like he wouldn't harm a fly. He had a career. He was good at it, and yeah, maybe he did have a bit of confidence. He did after all. He was the captain that was on Olympic when it did crashing. Well, when the Navy ship. Well, we don't know which way it was around, because again, the facts are kind of change on
Oh,
that.
this is the scene here.
This
It's
is it. This is where you
iceberg.
see the iceberg.
Now, at that point, the Titanic sideswiped the iceberg. Captain Smith was in his quarters, and he was
In his
probably getting ready for
bath.
for bed, and he probably had a bath. He was going for a bath.
Sure, they've actually managed to get into his with the cameras, with those underground
Yeah.
underwater cameras.
Yeah.
And his bath is still there with the plug still in.
Yeah.
So they reckon he was actually in the bath when it hit the iceberg and got out quickly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But imagine to see that wall of water coming right through the ship and, in flooding.
I do like the one in the James Cameron movie where the captain is shocked and he goes, he tells him the ship will go down, and he goes, but Titanic can't sink. Here we go. See, the pumps only bought them a couple of minutes, but the water pump, it did buy them that few minutes. Like,
It's to be a stoker on the Titanic and trapped in that. When they shut the watertight doors, I mean, there's no way of getting out. They're trapped in that, and there was a documentary and about one of the workers getting trapped in the watertight doors and got his leg trapped in it.
there was actually people buried between the hull plates as well while it was being built. It was called the Ship of Death, the people that were building it. Say it. I love Toby Jones. He brings a certain. He always brings humanity to his characters, even in Sherlock. Even though he was a prick, he brought the humanity out. That you could feel sorry for him a little bit. But in this show, I feel bleeding really sorry for him. But there, he's in shock.
Yeah.
Which they didn't show in the James Cameron one really that much.
Well, he was quite in shock, and it was like a passenger, a woman with her baby, asking him for help and asking him where to go for the boats and that, and he didn't respond.
Oh, the woman with the child, Captain. Yeah, and then you see her floating in the water with her baby.
Yeah.
That was horrific, actually, that scene. James Cameron, see, things like that he did, he brought it all to light, because while we've only ever read and heard witness testimony, to see it on screen like that, brought it all home, didn't it?
He's asking about the lifeboats if they've been tested fully.
Yeah, because the sea trials, they would have tested all the days, but they weren't, none of it was tested properly.
Well, the sea trials on the Titanic were very rushed through, and it was just signed through very quickly.
But she got her, she got it off her chest. TARDIS time, just popping in to wish everyone a good night and God bless. Good night, TARDIS time. Thanks for popping in.
And this is what happens. They didn't let the women and children through to the last minute. They just stood by the metal gates and just waited until they get further orders. So were they listening to captain's orders, or were they doing their own orders? That's the question. Because if you look in the shipwreck, I mean, when we went down to film the shipwreck, you could see these doors were locked.
I know. It's actually,
you can see them at the bow section. These doors are absolutely locked, bolted.
I would have just got straight up the top of that fucking ship, man. No matter anybody stop you and say, "Are you an idiot? The ship is actually sinking. You're telling me that I need to stay here, there, and no way."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she looks a bit like Kathy Bates.
Because he got off the ship, didn't he? He was crucified, man. He was crucified. But even I will say this, right? We do criticize kind of the first class because they were arrogant and stuff. But a lot of the men, and even stories of some of the women, they did become heroes. You know, I think a lot of them did redeem themselves. You know,
First class died.
Lives.
First class died in the Titanic just as second class and third class.
Yeah.
So they never had a chance themselves, and it was because women and children first. But it wasn't women and children only, because women and children were the first to board the lifeboat, and then it was followed by their husbands. But they decided to just go that way.
The ship is sinking. He's saying, "I'm not letting second or third class women on the boat." He said women and children. That means all women and fucking children, you idiots. Yeah.
So there wasn't any boat drill previously to the sinking before it. There was one that was scheduled for April, I think it was April 14th. There was a scheduled for a boat drill, but it never happened. So if they scheduled a kind of boat drill, I mean, they would have been better prepared. That's Benjamin Guggenheim, and that's
he went down. He gets a lot of praise for.
Benjamin Guggenheim, we are dressed in our best and prepared to go down as gentlemen. He knows that he's misbehaved in life, and
Yeah, so he thinks this for him, it's his treatment.
Yeah.
Because he won't fight to save his life. And even his valet, he says to his valet, go if you want to go. But because he wants to be respected by the man, he stands by him. He stays by him.
Yeah.
And of course, Andrew,
and there's a lot of men that
because obviously he's in shock as well, and the fact that his creation. Well, he was one of many, but he probably felt the duty to go down with the ship.
His body wasn't found, Thomas Andrews. It was John Jacob Astor's. And how they found their bodies? Their bodies were crushed, and they were covered in coal soot. And it's just like the Lusitania. The Lusitania is horrible. I've seen photographs of Lusitania, the dead and the wee coffins and that, and the wee children and all that. It's very horrific, and you don't want to see that.
Here's the scene again. They do repeat a lot of the scenes, but they're extended with the extra bits of. But this is where they have their conversation. He's apologizing now.
Yeah.
For everything. Ah.
I mean, that's a good writing here.
I know, but he's feeling good because he didn't give her everything that she wanted.
Yeah.
But this is where they realised that all their silly arguments,
Yeah.
Right now, this is the moments that matter.
No lifeboats left, and I mean, there was no panic on Titanic until the very end. I mean, when she was really going down in that, and they all started to panic, and they all started to run up to the stern.
But I do love that line. He says, "Look, if we're going to go down, let's go down fighting." And I like that.
So this was the collapsible boat, the last collapsible boat they were trying to get to float off.
Could you imagine the terror on their faces, man?
Yeah.
There you go. And it just ends there. The third and the fourth episodes are very they do step it up a notch again.
Yeah, we've got 2 episodes to go. 2 episodes to go. We've got the No Way Out and the Sinking.
Yeah. And the Sinking is kind of impressive for an ITV production. The only thing that I didn't like about it was there wasn't enough of the Sinking. The actual ship going. I would have liked them to do a bit more than what they did. But what they did show was, I suppose, with the budget that they would have had at the time, it was still highly impressive. But look, I never get bored of this TV show. It was very good. I do feel, you know what, I couldn't have imagined what those people went through when you see things like that. But it doesn't matter what class you were, 4th, 2nd, 3rd class. that to go through something like that would have been horrible. And they did say there wasn't any panic until the last minute, which is a testament to all those people of that time. Because you imagine nowadays, you put a lot of SJWs on that ship,
and they'll be scrambling to get a lifeboat.
Yeah, it'd be dog eat dog. They literally
Yeah.
kill each other just to get onto a lifeboat.
Yeah.
But there was none of that. Even the band playing as the ship goes down is one of the most, iconic stories that you hear from this. But that was a good look. I'll start off with the rating this week. I don't know, I forget what I rated last week's episode, but this was a very impressive episode. I do like it. I like the interesting story that he was trying to tell here, Julian Fellows. And it works. It does. I think he's gotten the balance quite right. Next week now, where we do find out a little bit more about that Italian fella. He's got a bit of a dodgy past. So it builds up. So what it does is it focuses on certain characters throughout each episode. And then obviously it halfway through the episode, they show the iceberg hitting Titanic, or Titanic hitting the iceberg, I should say. That's in it. It's a ship is starting to sink in every episode. That's the thing, good bit about. Now, I know at the time, I remember when I watched it, I wasn't too impressed with the way he was doing it, but watching it again, I have to say, now I get why he did it the way he did it. It makes so much more sense. By the time you get to the sinking, then you know enough about these characters that some of them you're willing on to survive. Well, you are willing them all to survive. But then when you see what happens, certain characters in it, you're devastated. You are. It was very well written. I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Fantastic, because I know the other 2 episodes in particular, the last 2 are my favorite. I have to say the first 2 kind of build it up for you, but the last 2 episodes now is where it really does hit the ground running, as they say. Yeah, absolutely. I look again. We could talk about this all night, because it's something that is really fascinating. But I just want to say to everybody that did stick around, I know there's a birthday stream going on. I did wish Gary a happy birthday on Twitter when I seen it this morning. So I'd say a lot of people are over there actually, for his birthday stream. So happy birthday, Gary, again. And if anybody is watching this back, remember, it's the ITV production of Titanic. You can go and watch the first episode, catch up with the second episode while you're watching these streams, or watch both streams when you put part 1 on. And when you watch part 2, put this stream on and watch us, because we don't just talk about the TV show. We talk about Titanic as a whole. Like we just have a general conversation while we're watching, because we'll watch something in this that will make us think of something that we've heard, and then we like to tell a little bit of a story or whatever. And there are some fascinating stories that come out of this ship. And remember, the one thing, as I said last week, this ship will live on, because there's still stories to this day that are being uncovered, and it is all very fascinating. But I'm going to leave it there, because, as I said, I've got a pre-record to do, but I want to actually take a break for about an hour. I've got to take Ted down as well. I want to have a shower, and then I'll get with that pre-record. Tomorrow, I don't think I have Alpha back for a few more weeks. So I'm thinking of doing something tomorrow. I don't know whether I'll do a Torchwood watch along, because we did do that vote poll. I did give you the choice between the Orville and Torchwood, but people picked Torchwood. So I was thinking, to be fair, because the first 2 seasons are hit and miss with some fans out there. I was thinking of maybe doing the 3rd season, Children of the Earth, instead. Because they're 1.5 hour episodes each or something, I think, or hour episodes each. And let's be honest, everybody considers that the best Torchwood that they did. And I agree. I think that whole season, and even Chris Chibnall had a hand in it. But yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due. So I'm gonna whack up a trailer for that to get to see what kind of reaction I get with it. And if everybody is on board when I'm not streaming Sliders with Alpha, I think he said he's away for another 3 weeks. So we'll be able to get a few episodes in. So I'll throw a trailer up later because you did vote for Torchwood. So I'll do the trailer for Children of the Earth. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And I'll whack that up later on. So we'll do that Thursday, see how that goes. After I do Sliders, and of course after I finish Titanic and stuff like that, then I'm gonna start reshuffling around some of the watch-alongs. I know we do Doctor Who the weekends, but I'm thinking of putting maybe classic or new Who midweek instead. Free up a day the weekend so we can do something different. Because we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff as well. Remember, we have Contact as well every Friday. Last week's stream was actually amazing. So if you just want to be a guest on that, you know what to do. Send me a DM as usual, and we'll get you on. But yeah, we're going to be doing other stuff and trying different stuff as well. I've got a few ideas. Thinking of doing a quiz. But this quiz will be different to the one that we used to do with Rabbi. So basically what I'm thinking of doing is bring guests on, right? And then they've got 60 seconds to answer as many questions about Doctor Who as possible, right? And then the winner of each, so there'll be 2 people brought on each night for the quiz. This is what I was thinking. And we get them to compete. Whoever answers the most questions then goes through to the weekly final, right? And then we have then, when we say we do 5 or 6 weeks of people coming on doing the quiz, then we'll have a final then, and same thing, 60 seconds. That way there's no cheating because you have to answer as quick as possible. So it limits people Googling and trying to find the answers. So I was thinking of doing something like that. I haven't that's kind of the format that I want to go with, but I haven't nothing is I'm just throwing out ideas there of things that I'd like to do, but I want to change it up a little bit because we are getting bogged down in a lot of watch-alongs, and you know, we haven't done Contact. I suppose is the only stream where we kind of get on to talk about different stuff, and you know, as I said, I have been watching other shows there that I do want to review as well and start throwing up more reviews. So yeah, I might shuffle things around. I haven't decided yet. If it doesn't happen anytime soon, it'll definitely happen for the new year. Things will be shuffled around and changed around, and there'll be new streams introduced and stuff. We'll have panels and all galore, the whole lot, reviews. There's lots of TV shows coming out that we all love and watch now. They still do make some decent shows. So I'll be doing reviews of that. And of course, we will have the review of Series 13 to do. Oh, man. The specials. But hopefully it's the last time of this kind of Doctor Who that we've been getting. And hopefully, you know, BBC realise that mistakes were made. You know, as you know, there are people out there saying the fans shouldn't be getting their hopes up, and nobody's getting their hopes up. You know, it's the same when the hashtag Sheen for 14, people don't see the point of follow. That's fine. If you think fans are getting their hopes up, you're wrong. Fans aren't getting their hopes up. I'm under no illusion that BBC could continue down the same path. All I'm just saying is that there is an opportunity here because of what's happened that we can actually, you know, get a hashtag trending, but send a message to the BBC, and that's all it is. And again, I'm still getting some resistance from it, but I'm going to continue to flog that hashtag. I don't care if people think it's a waste of time. I don't care if people out there think that I'm setting fans up to be hurt. No, I'm not. Nobody is under any illusion here that BBC could go down the same route. But there is always a chance that they could go the opposite way. And as I said, nobody has anything to lose because right now a lot of fans think the show is dead. So there is nothing to lose by using that hashtag. But if you don't want to use it, that's fine. But as I keep saying, just keep your negativity to yourself. Nobody wants to be hearing that, right? If you don't want to, this is the ironic thing. You get people giving out about Doctor Who, right? But saying that they hate the show and that they're done with the show. Well, why are you still talking about it?
Yeah.
You know? So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of hypocrisy out there, right? So, it's the same with the hashtag. It shouldn't mean that to you that if you think the show is dead. Well, then don't be talking about it, right? Because the show is dead. But why talk about it? Because these people still do care. They're kidding themselves. But I'll leave it at that. But here's the hashtag again. So it's Shane for 14, as I said. John, I forgot to ask you if you wanted to plug your channel in the last stream.
All right. I've got a Twitter account under Real Super Doctor, and I've got a YouTube channel under Real Super Doctor.
Fantastic. And that's it for now.
Yeah.
We'll do that pre-record. I'll probably throw it up tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'll see. But look out for it's gonna go up straight after this. But I have a little trailer prepared for Saturday's watch along. So check that out. It'll be coming up. It's already uploaded since this morning. So all I just have to do is make it public. So what I'll do is I'll premiere it straight away, instant premiere. So go stay on the channel. Stay on the YouTube channel because right now I will be, as I said, throwing up that little trailer for you. Check it out. It's for the watch along this weekend. So if people want to know what the Doctor Who watch along is, check out the trailer. Right, it's a good night for me.
Good night from me.
And we will talk to you very soon. I hope you have enjoyed this Titanic watch along. By the way, if there are any other Titanic documentaries out there or stuff that you'd like me and John to check out that you think we mightn't have checked out, let us know in the comment section underneath this video, and we'll take a look and we'll see if it's worth doing. Remember, so we're open to, or if there's any other ships out there, if there's any other stories that you think are worth highlighting on this channel, let us know, because myself and John, as I said, we do love everything about Titanic, but I do love the history of ocean liners and shipbuilding in particular. So if there's anything that you want us to have a look at, let us know. Now remember, it has to be available. It has to be available on where we can get it on an app or something like that. No YouTube videos, because most of them will be copyrighted, so we can't play YouTube videos. So if there's any movies out there or documentaries out there that we can easily get access to, let us know. But no YouTube videos. I have to make that clear. That's why I don't do the dog videos anymore when we did Contact, because I literally got a copyright claim and Facebook actually striked one of my videos. So I had to take it down. So not the one on YouTube, but the one on Facebook. So no more doggy videos on YouTube, or no more YouTube videos will be played on the channel, because YouTube are being dicks right now. And I'm actually angry at them, because my revenue was 105 quid and it's gone down to 91. So they're taking money off me, even though they've already taken the money off me. They're taking more money off me now. So which means I have to stream even more now to try get it back up again. Haven't even got past the threshold yet, and I set the threshold. Oh, it's ridiculous. YouTube is just doing my head in.
Yeah. I was going to say to you, have you seen The Time Tunnel? You know, the original series of The Time Tunnel?
Yeah.
They've got a Titanic episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, we'll check that out at some stage, right? Leave it. We'll do this one first, and we'll see what the story is. Because I might have to. I mean, Alpha is going to be doing his own watch alongs on his channel soon, anyway. So, I mean, we've already done season one of Slider, so I might put that on hiatus for a while because it's like he works every 4 weeks or something and gets a couple of weeks off then, and then we have to try squeeze in 2 episodes at a time. But I might put that on hiatus. I'll have to see. We'll start off season two, see how it goes, because I don't want this. I don't want it to drag out over till the end of the year because we're going to get very busy. Especially when Doctor Who drops. There's going to be plenty to talk about there. So when Series 13 drops, there's going to be a lot more Doctor Who content. There won't be just the watch along streams, but there'll be panels.
And it's not only that; it's the regeneration as well.
Exactly. So there's going to be loads to talk about, and the channel will, because that's what we primarily are, is a Doctor Who channel, but we are doing other stuff. But when Series 13 comes back, obviously we focus on that. We'll be having panels and all on that. And I'm gonna say this though: the panels will be only open to people that are watching Series 13. I won't be bringing people on that haven't watched Series 13. Will be the difference now. Over the last 2 seasons, we have brought people on that have not watched the show but have given their opinion from things that they've heard. Won't be doing that. I'll be only bringing on panelists that are watching Series 13 and the specials, because it's they're, well, they've seen it, and they will be the ones that can give an honest opinion on it. I'm not saying that the others are not giving honest opinions, but they're not. They wouldn't be opinions based off because they've watched the show. They'd be only basing their opinions on the past. And, we don't know what Series 13 is going to turn out like. We can't speculate that it's going to be a shit show, but you never know. And that's the thing. You never actually know. So I'll only be bringing people on the panel that have actually watched Series 13. And it's only open to people that have watched Series 13. And it doesn't matter what side of the fandom you're on. If you think it was good, you're more than welcome to come on. If you think it was bad, you're more than welcome to come on. I want to hear from everybody now. Now that all this shit is starting to come out and be exposed and might be behind us soon, maybe now there'll be people willing to come onto the channel that weren't willing to come on before and actually discuss these things with me in an adult manner. And that's all I've ever wanted, is to get both sides of the both opinions by both sets of fans, but that has been impossible because of all the stuff that has happened over the last couple of years. But that's an open invitation to Jodie Whittaker fans that do like this era, that haven't been toxic. If you want to come on and give your opinions about the upcoming series, you're more than welcome on. Just like those who don't like the current era, you're welcome to come on and give your opinions about Series 13 if you've watched it, of course. And I will be sticking to that, and I will be strict on that this year, because we don't need to get into this vicious circle of getting caught up, and then someone says the wrong thing, they haven't even watched it, and then it all starts up all again. So I don't want that stuff to be happening anymore. The fandom needs to move on now and move on in the right direction. And, all opinions are allowed. And, to those people, their opinions are valid and they mean something to them. And we need to get back to that. So, yeah, that's my message to everybody out there. So anybody is welcome on this channel once you behave yourself and give your honest opinions. And that's all I've ever wanted for this channel. And this community is welcoming anyway. It doesn't matter what side of the argument you're on, they will listen to your opinions. They might disagree with your opinions, but that's okay. That's allowed too. And you're allowed to disagree with their opinions too. That's the whole joy of fandom. Right. gonna leave it there. Me and John are off. As I said, if there's any other stuff you want us to check out, let us know, and we will see you soon. Did you see Churchill tonight? LOL. No, he was in last week's episode. I don't think he features until next week now because they do focus on the Italian fella next week. I thought it was this week, but it's not. It's next week. They focused on the couple first, so they set it up and show us them because the wife kind of steals a kiss, or he steals a kiss, as she says. So yeah, what you call it? That'll be next week, Marky. That'll be next week. And as I said, Marky, if you want to join me and John for the last couple of episodes, considering your uncle is in it, you know, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. You do know that. Right, me and John are going to leave it there. John, as usual, thank you for coming on both streams, man.
No bother. But when it comes to Series 13 of Doctor Who, I don't think I could put myself through that.
Right, well, look, I know I'll see it in the chat anyway. You can understand where I'm coming from. I just need to bring people on that have watched it because, you know, I don't know, John, though. I think it would be worth the watch just to see, you know. She is going to be going, you know, she's going now. But look, I'll leave it to you. If you change your mind in the meantime, let me know anyway, right? But I know for now, obviously, you have no interest in watching. Noel,
I've tried. I really have tried to watch it and tried to kind of enjoy it, but just can't. It's just.
I know you can't. It's boring. Look. I get where you're coming from. It's a boring piece of crap, right? But the latest special, and I will defend it. It did have plot holes. I'm not going to lie, right? But it was the most enjoyable thing that he's written for Doctor Who so far, and the Jodie Whittaker fans, or as we used to call them, the toxic J-bots, because I came out and praised this episode. As you remember, I actually got a bit sick off my own chat for it, but they were giving out to me because I liked it, right? And they were coming out and criticizing and saying he hated it. It was the best thing that was written, that he's ever written for Doctor Who. And why? Because it actually felt a bit like a Doctor Who episode for once.
Yeah.
That's the thing, John. It actually felt like a Doctor Who episode for once. It didn't feel like we were watching a Chris Chibnall era episode. This was completely different. And I think it got a lot to do with John Barrowman being back.
Yeah.
But I will say to you, you know, check.
I'll see how I feel about it.
Well, look, see how you feel. If you change your mind, and you're more than welcome on the panel if you've watched it. But if not, of course, I know I'll see it in the chat, and I know you'll be listening to all of us as we're talking about it. I know what episode I will be watching. I'll be watching the Regeneration. Of course, everybody be watching that. Probably be the most watched episode of the Whittaker era. Chris says, Noel, anyone that's ever popped into any of your streams will see that you're fair to everyone. Thank you, Noel, Super Doctor, for all you do. Have a great night. Oh, and yes, one more shameless plug. Hashtag Sheen for 14. Now listen, man, Chris, you're always here as well. And I appreciate your support, and even Marty popping in there as well. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate it. But listen, look, I set up this YouTube channel. I didn't think it would go this way. I thought people think that this fella is crazy and all of this, but I managed to along with you guys, build a community that we can all be proud of. So, you know, I'll always be grateful for that. And I know that without you guys watching me night in, night out, I wouldn't have the support that I have from everybody else. So thank you. It's all down to you guys. Remember that I'm humble enough to know that without you guys, you know, I'm nothing on this platform. And I don't even consider myself someone on this platform anyway. You know, I've always known I'm a small YouTuber. I fight my little patch, you know, my little fandom, our fandom, I should say, you know, and you know, we fight that corner of the pop culture, you know. So you know, again, it's all down to everybody. Everybody has helped get this channel where it is. It's not down to me. I love coming on now. You know, for a few weeks there, a few months. So as I said to you, I haven't enjoyed it since Christmas, really. Last Christmas,
Yeah.
it became a bit of a chore. But ever since I got all that stuff off my chest, and now all of this stuff is happening now, where they're being exposed, and the police have been informed. I'm feeling good about myself again. I'm feeling good about the channel again, and I want to stream as much as bloody possible. So that's a good sign, you know. So long may it continue, and hopefully we get a bit of peace in this fandom. But I'm definitely saying good night now, and I know I always do this, but I'm gone now. And don't forget, hashtag Sheen for 14, folks. Good night.
Good
Talk
night.
to you all soon. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and thanks for watching. And as I said, if you're watching after the fact, pop this stream on when John does the countdown, press play, and watch along as we're talking. Quite fascinating conversations we do have. So check them out. I'll see you later, folks. Night night.
Good night.